Walkaway. Here's a list of a few reasons I have. First being the current direction of the Democratic Party. Over the past several years, we've seen the Democratic Party make low blow after low blow on our freedoms. No one did more to divide this country than President Obama did himself. While preaching for change, he did nothing but destroy all the racial progress we've made as a country over the last 60 years or so. Now, while I was not a fan of Bernie Sanders by any stretch of the imagination, and I found some of his ideas to be completely insane, he was indeed robbed of his candidacy in the primaries. If the Democratic Party is willing to shoot one of their own in the foot, what do you think they'd be willing to do to the rest of us? Acceptance. The majority of Christians in the U.S. are conservative. Because of that, the Bible preaches that homosexuality is a sin. Many of the LGBT community has come to believe that the conservatives are hate-mongering anti-LGBT individuals. But that's simply not true. While many Christians will disagree with your choices, it is very possible to love someone for who they are, and not what they do. Should you open your eyes, you will find that to be the truth for a large majority of the Republican Party. On the other side, the left has continued to preach hate in the name of tolerance. What they really mean by tolerance is, if you think even slightly different from them, you're a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, or whatever else they would choose to label you as. Truth. I believe there are two forms of ignorance. Ignorance in the absence of education, and ignorance in the denial of education. It's important to know the difference. For ignorance, because of the absence of education, can be countered with logic and reason. However, when one denies education in favor of feelings, said individual will never know what truth is. Such has been the case with the increasingly radical left. Deny science, deny research, deny truth. So long as you can argue with your feelings, that is all you need. Now, last but not least is the topic of fake news. Fake news is the spreading of knowingly dishonest narrative, whether it be by the omission of truth or the presence of outright lies. Perhaps fake news has always existed, but in recent times, the media has begun to portray less truth and more emotionally provoking narrative. For example, it's unlikely that you've heard the name Stephen Williford. Back in November of last year, there was a shooting at a church in Southerland Springs, Texas. 26 people killed. It wasn't something that was shared on the news much because it couldn't be used for the anti-Second Amendment narrative that the media wants to push so hard. And that is because Stephen Williford used the same firearm, an AR-15, to injure said gunman, and proceeded to pursue the gunman until he wrecked his vehicle and was found dead. And in some news articles, the one posted by the New York Times, for example, Stephen's name isn't even mentioned in the article at all. Why? Because the media doesn't care about a hero story. They'd rather immortalize the shooter by sharing his name instead, which I will simply not do here. To wrap things up, I invite you to do your own research. If you're fed up with what the left has become, know that you will be welcomed here. I invite you to speak to others who have walked away from the Democratic Party. Join the Walkaway campaign on Facebook, converse with others who have likely experienced the same thing you're experiencing now. Assuming it isn't too late, I invite you to join the Walkaway March the weekend of October the 27th, 2018 at Washington, D.C. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.